I was introduced to HTML in 2017, and from 2017 up until 2019, I was involved in tutorial hell, jumping from one tutorial to another, and at some point I even diverted to graphics design, spent some time in graphics design, did a couple of freelance projects before I came back to web development in 2019, and then I took it serious. Looking at how far my journey has come from 2019 up to this moment, I can see different things that I wish I knew when I started. I feel like if I had known these things, I would have approached web development, or I would have approached learning in a different way, which would have influenced my career or impacted my career positively. I'm happy for where I am now in my career, so it's not like I regret these things, but these are just things I wish I knew. And now I am sharing these things in this video. I'll be sharing 6 of them. And if you're somebody who is currently at the beginning stages of your programming or coding career, I hope that these tips I share would be able to help you approach learning in a better way and also help you build your skills in the most effective way. So let's jump to the 6 things that I wish I knew when I started coding. Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dillion, and on my space here, if this is your first time, I share my experiences in my life and also in my technical career as a content creator, developer, advocate, and a software engineer. If you'd love to see more videos that I share like this one, then please subscribe if you haven't. So let's move on to the 6 things that I wish I knew when I started coding. The first thing I wish I knew is that I learn more effectively by practicing than just by watching tutorials. As I said in the beginning of this video, I was involved in tutorial hell at the beginning stages of my career. I was jumping from one tutorial to another, from one tutorial of 5 hours to another one of 9 hours to another one of 7 hours. There was even this Python tutorial I had of 15 hours. I never finished it. I watched a couple of tutorials during that season, and it gave me this false feeling of I was learning. And it's not like I wasn't learning. Of course, when I read something, I actually get an idea of it. But then most of those things that I learned, they didn't stay in my head. I couldn't remember them for next time. And that's because I wasn't practicing. I wasn't doing anything with this information that I learned. I only learned it and then felt like I already knew this. So one thing I really wish I knew was that as I was watching these tutorials, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, I wish I was also applying this knowledge that I was learning by building stuff, be it from front end or the back end things that I was learning. So if you're currently finding yourself in tutorial hell, where you're jumping from one tutorial to another and you have this belief that you are learning, well, I'm here to tell you that it's not like you're not actually learning, but the best way to enforce or to retain the knowledge that you learn is by applying it. And this is by building projects, replicating other projects, using what you have learned to build one thing or the other. The second thing I wish I knew was consistency. Now, it's not like I wasn't consistent, but I wasn't intentional about being consistent in my journey. Now, sometimes I watch videos, of course, tutorial hell. Sometimes I watch videos and I leave it and I come back like a week after, or sometimes I come back like 2 weeks after. And even when I had the graphics design phase of my career, there was a moment where I was only coming back to tech like maybe once in 2 weeks or once a month. But when I started being consistent about my learning and practicing journey from 2019, I noticed how over the span of a couple of months and even years, I can see how much I have grown. I have seen how much knowledge I have been able to gain by consistently doing this thing. Because learning coding or programming is just like other talents or other things you want to learn in life. You have to be consistent. If you're just dropping in when you like, the knowledge you have would be limited and it would not be enforced, because it's like you come, you go, you come, you go. I don't know if you get me. But the more consistently you do this thing, be it like 1 hour daily, 2 hours daily, 3 hours a week, however it is for you, the more you are able to retain and enforce the knowledge that you have. The third thing I wish I knew when I started coding was focusing on one major thing for start and then introducing other things later on. And when I started coding, I was very enthusiastic about learning about the web, but then I was also learning about Python. I had different tutorials on Python. I was also learning graphics design. I was learning JavaScript. I was learning HTML. I was also learning PHP. I was jumping from one tutorial to another across different languages and trying to master all of these things at once was very difficult. So instead of mastering one, I ended up not mastering any of them until 2019 when I decided to focus majorly on front end. So if you're currently in that phase where you're jumping across different things, of course it's nice to be skilled in many areas or to have ideas of many areas, but I would recommend that you focus on one major thing, be it backend, be it design, be it video editing, whatever it is for you. Focus on that, have a good standard and foundational knowledge in that thing, and then you can introduce other skills that you are interested in. Like at the moment, I have a good grounding in front end, and then I also have skills in design, in backend, and a couple of other things. So I wish I had known earlier that instead of trying to learn so many things and master so many things at once, I had focused on one major thing. The fourth thing I wish I knew earlier was sharing my journey. And sharing my journey here means sharing the things that I learned and also sharing my experiences. From 2017 up until 2019, I was just watching tutorials and I wasn't sharing anything. I mean, apart from the friends around me that knew what I was learning, I wasn't sharing this thing on any social media platform or on my status or stories. But since I started doing this in 2019, I noticed how I was able to grow an audience, how I was also able to build beautiful or meaningful network and connections with people, and how also from the things that I share, I'm able to learn more and also help others learn from the things that I share. Since I started doing this in 2019, it greatly improved my career, and sometimes I wish why didn't I start doing this in 2017? But anyways, it's not like there is ever a late time, and also there isn't a late time for you. I also want to say this, that sharing things may not be very easy for everyone. It may not come as easy as it came for me, for you, but it's something that I feel like you can try. The projects that you build, you can share them. The articles you write, you can share them. The videos that you make, you can share them. Sharing your journey helps others as well as helps you to meet other people in your field and be able to establish yourself in your career and make people know you for what you do or for who you are. The fifth thing I wish I knew when I started coding is that I cannot know everything. I felt like growing in my career, I would know everything in JavaScript. I would know everything in HTML. So that was like my focus, trying to know everything. But what I've come to realize after growing in my career is that you cannot really know everything. You can only know the basics, you can know the syntax, know that this or that is possible in this language or possible in this technology. And then there is Google for when you actually need to do this thing. Now you already have an idea that JavaScript can do this because you already know the basics of JavaScript and you know what it is capable of. But now you may not really know or have it saved in your head what the syntax of this thing you want to do is. But when you finally want to do it, when you finally have a problem that requires such solution, you can easily go on Google, ask or search for the right query, and then you'll get results on how to do it. So I wish I had spent more time at the beginning learning the foundation, learning the basic, learning the most common things of these languages or of front end than actually trying to know everything, like how to do DOM manipulations, how to do this, how to do variables. I was just trying to learn all the things, both the ones that I need and both the ones that I didn't need at the time. So if you're currently in that phase in your journey, this can of course be overwhelming for you because you feel like, do I need to know all of this? Or the answer, from my opinion, is that you do not need to. You just need to have a good foundation of these languages. And when you finally need to do certain advanced or complex things, you can easily go to Stack Overflow, go to Google, or go to existing standard documentations. And the last thing that I wish I knew when I started coding is that imposter syndrome doesn't mean I am a bad developer. It doesn't mean I am terrible at what I do. And for different developers, imposter syndrome comes at different phases of our career. And sometimes it could be influenced when we see other people, maybe younger or our mates, doing something bigger than what we are doing. And then we feel like we should be able to do something like this, but then we cannot. And then we begin to feel we are terrible, we are bad learners, we are not doing a great job, and we begin to see ourselves less. I wish I learned this too, because I also felt that way a lot of times when I saw people. Like, I had a couple of friends who joined tech in few months, they already had a job, and I didn't have a job. I saw friends who jumped in and were already creating amazing websites, and for me, I was still struggling with CSS. It doesn't mean I am a bad developer. I got to realize that as humans, we all have different ways of learning, and we all have different pace at which we learn. For some people, they understand things better than the other. So for me, whenever I begin to feel imposter syndrome, because it's not like I have stopped feeling it, I still feel it from time to time, but whenever I feel it, how I overcome it is by reminding myself of the things that I can do at this point in my career, reminding myself of my skills, reminding myself of my accomplishments, reminding myself of the projects that I have built. So even if I may feel like I haven't built the biggest project, I remind myself of the smallest project that I have built. I remind myself of the people that I have helped. I remind myself of the amazing articles that I have written, and that in a way helps me feel better. So if you're having this imposter syndrome, it's not necessarily like you are terrible or you're not good or you're too slow. Nah, give yourself peace. Like, be merciful upon yourself. Remind yourself of the beautiful things happening around you, the beautiful growth in your journey. Look back at where you were like a month ago or a year ago and acknowledge how much you have grown and how you are going at your own pace, and stop feeling terrible. Like you must have heard, your competition should be with yourself and not with people, because different people have different parts in life. So your competition should be, where was I yesterday? I need to be better today. And these are 6 of the many things that I wish I knew when I started coding. I'll probably share more in upcoming videos, but if you found any of these tips helpful, please let me know in the comments what your favorite tip was. And also, if you are currently struggling with anything in the start of your career, you can also let me know in the comments. I'll try to respond with any answer or helpful solution that I have, or I could also make videos about it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Also subscribe so you can see more videos like this, and please share this with others who are currently at the beginning stages of their career and you believe they would find this video helpful. Peace.